Have you ever felt trapped in a whirlwind of thoughts you just can't control? Like your mind is filled with worries, doubts, and emotions that simply won't let you move forward. Let me tell you something. You're not alone. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy, and the difference lies in how you cultivate it. In this video, we're going to explore how to clear and organize your mind with the help of the Stoics and other great thinkers who have faced the same questions you have. How do you find calm in the chaos? How do you let go of what doesn't serve you? How do you create mental space for what truly matters? I'm not here to give you superficial advice or quick fixes. What you'll learn here are practical and profound tools that can transform not only how you think, but also how you live. If you feel like your mind needs a break, a reset, stick with me. My name is Gabriel, and if you haven't done so yet, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Here, you'll find content that will help you live with more clarity, purpose, and serenity. Let's get started. Number 1, master the art of mental clarity. Sometimes our mind feels like a cluttered room filled with things we don't even remember storing. Repetitive thoughts, worries about things that may never happen, and memories that no longer serve us take up space we could be using for clarity and peace. The truth is, you can't fill a cup that's already overflowing, and the same goes for your mind. If it's overcrowded, there's no room for the new or the important. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, spoke about the power of letting go of what isn't useful. He said, "We must learn to think only of what truly deserves our attention." But how do we do that? How do we let go of those thoughts that seem to have settled in our heads like permanent tenants? First, we must recognize that our mind is not an infinite storage space. Every thought consumes energy and attention, and when we allow unnecessary ones to pile up, we become mentally drained. Emptying the mind doesn't mean forgetting everything or ignoring our responsibilities. It means learning to prioritize, to let go of what we don't need, to make room for what truly matters. Think about it. How many times have you lost sleep, replaying a past conversation or imagining an uncertain future? That mental drain not only affects your clarity, but also your energy. This is where the art of mental clarity comes in, a practice that combines Stoic philosophy with the mental minimalism of the Zen tradition. It's about pausing and asking yourself, does this thought deserve to be here? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't try to fight it, just observe it, like watching a cloud pass in the sky, and allow it to dissolve. I know it's not easy. There are days when our minds feel like an unstoppable torrent, and trying to calm it down can seem impossible. But here's the key. Mental clarity is not a permanent state. It's a constant practice. Every time you choose to release an unnecessary thought, you're training your mind to be clearer, more focused, more free. And don't underestimate the power of a peaceful environment to support this process. The Stoics believed that outer order influences the inner, which is why Marcus Aurelius often retreated into solitude to reflect. Find a moment in your day to disconnect from the noise, turn off distractions, and simply be present with yourself. It's in those moments of silence where mental clarity finds the space to bloom. The result isn't just a cleaner mind, but also a feeling of lightness, as if you've taken a weight off your shoulders. Because when you clear your mind, you don't just find clarity, you also find the power to face each day with greater serenity and purpose. The question is, are you ready to make space for what truly matters? Number 2, redefine your expectations of others. Sometimes, the heaviest burden on our minds isn't what we do, but what we expect from others. For years, I was a victim of my own expectations. I thought certain people should act a certain way, live up to my ideals, or be present in the way I considered right. And when they didn't, I felt disappointed, even betrayed. I didn't understand that my frustration didn't come from their actions, but from my own unfulfilled expectations. I remember a moment that deeply impacted me. It was during a family gathering. I had put all my effort into organizing the perfect event, hoping everyone would be there and that we'd feel that connection I always longed for at those moments. But one of the most important people to me didn't show up. No warning, no explanation. In that instant, I was filled with a mix of sadness, anger, and disappointment. I spent the entire gathering overthinking, wondering what I did wrong, why they didn't try as hard as I did. The next day, while still carrying that frustration, I stumbled upon a quote from Epictetus that felt like it was written just for me. People act not as we wish, but as they are. That thought struck me like lightning. I realized the source of my frustration wasn't their absence, but my unrealistic expectation of how they should behave. I was holding on so tightly to what I wanted that I hadn't left any room to accept reality. From that day on, I started working on something that would change how I relate to others, and more importantly, how I relate to my own thoughts, redefining my expectations. This doesn't mean having no expectations of anyone, but rather adjusting them to what people are truly capable of and willing to offer. It's an act of liberation, because when we stop expecting others to act as we wish, we free ourselves from the constant weight of disappointment. But this is not resignation. It's about consciously choosing which relationships deserve space in your life and which do not. It's about accepting that some people can be with you in unexpected ways, while others may not be able to or may not want to. And that's okay. The important thing isn't controlling their actions, but your response to them. Since then, my family gatherings have been different. I no longer organize them expecting everyone to meet my standards. I do it because I want to enjoy the moment, regardless of who is or isn't there. And interestingly, that new attitude has made me enjoy those moments more, be more present, and appreciate what's truly there instead of what's missing. Maybe you too have been weighed down by unfulfilled expectations, whether with your children, friends, or even yourself. But as Seneca said, "He who always expects lives in a state of eternal dissatisfaction." When we redefine what we expect, we not only free ourselves from disappointment, but we also create space to appreciate what's right in front of us. So I ask you, what expectations can you adjust today to free up space in your mind and live with more peace? Sometimes, letting go of who we thought others should be is the first step toward truly meeting them and ourselves in a more authentic way. Number 3, practice conscious emotional cleansing. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a great lake. In the beginning, its waters were clear and calm, perfectly reflecting the sky. But over the years, leaves have fallen, branches have drifted in, and perhaps someone has thrown stones that still ripple across the surface. Those leaves and branches represent the resentments, fears, disappointments, and unresolved emotions you've accumulated over time. Unless you do something to clean that lake, it will keep getting murkier, preventing you from seeing clearly. The Stoics understood this as one of the most important tasks of being human, freeing the mind from emotions that contaminate it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Rid yourself of distractions, free yourself from unnecessary pain and pleasure, learn to be at peace with yourself." Essentially, he urged us to constantly examine which emotions we carry and ask ourselves if they still have a purpose in our lives. The problem is, those emotions often stick with us because we never confront them. We think that over time, they'll just fade away on their own. But that's not true. The grudges we've held onto for years, the fear we've never expressed, or the disappointments we've never processed all become a constant noise taking up space in our minds. And meanwhile, we keep moving forward, accumulating more unresolved emotions until that lake becomes almost unrecognizable. The good news is, you can start cleaning it. The first step is to sit with yourself, in silence, and allow yourself to truly feel what you feel. Not to judge it or justify it, but to acknowledge it. You might realize there's still sadness over something that happened years ago, or anger towards someone who isn't even part of your life anymore. Those emotions don't need to stay. You don't have to carry them anymore. A powerful practice for this emotional cleansing is writing. The Stoics were strong advocates of journaling, of putting into words what happens within to better understand it. Grab a notebook and write down what worries you, what hurts, what frustrates you. It doesn't matter if the words flow or make sense at first. What matters is that you start to unload your mind from those emotional burdens. As Epictetus said, what troubles men is not events, but their interpretation of them. By writing, you can discover how you're interpreting those events and begin to let go of that interpretation. Another essential step is forgiveness. But don't think of forgiveness as an act of letting others off the hook for their mistakes. Think of it as a gift to yourself. When you forgive, you release the energy spent keeping that resentment alive. Remember, forgiveness doesn't mean justifying or forgetting. It means letting go of what no longer serves you. It's a deep cleansing act that restores the clarity your lake needs. Imagine what your life would be like if every time you faced a difficult emotion, you addressed it instead of ignoring it. If every disappointment, every anger, every fear was treated like a fallen leaf in that lake, something you can remove instead of letting it sink to the bottom. That's what conscious emotional cleansing means, keeping your mind free of what you no longer need, so you can live with greater lightness, focus, and peace. So I ask you, what emotions are you carrying that you could release today? Because in the end, time doesn't heal all wounds. It's the conscious decision to let go of what weighs us down. And when you do that, you discover that beneath all that clutter, there's still a clear, calm lake, ready to reflect the best of you. If you're finding yourself connecting with these ideas and discovering practical ways to keep your mind clean, organized, and focused, I invite you to subscribe and hit the like button. That helps me keep creating valuable content for those who seek to live each day with more clarity and purpose. Also, let me know where you're watching this video from. I'd love to hear from you and how you're applying these reflections in your life. Stay until the end, because the final lesson will not only challenge the way you understand your surroundings, but also show you a powerful path to keep your mind calm, even in the most chaotic moments. Let's keep going. Number 4, practice intentional silence. We live in a world where noise feels unavoidable. Not just external noise, constant conversations, electronic devices, traffic, but also internal noise. The thoughts that won't stop, the worries that whisper in our ears, even when we try to rest. Silence, on the other hand, is a luxury few seek and even fewer find. But within that silence, in those moments of conscious pause, lies the key to a clearer, more organized mind. Marcus Aurelius used to retreat to the countryside, not to escape his responsibilities, but because he understood that silence was a way to return to himself, to listen to what truly mattered. Intentional silence is not just the absence of noise. It's the conscious decision to stop the chaos and reconnect with yourself. It's about turning off the world to turn on your inner clarity. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet place, away from distractions, no TV, no phone, just the sound of your breath and the beat of your heart. At first, it might feel strange, even uncomfortable, like something is missing. But as the minutes pass, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Your thoughts settle, your worries lose their grip, and you start to feel a clarity you haven't experienced in a long time. A listener of the channel, who I'll call Mary, shared a story that perfectly illustrates this. Mary is 68 years old and, like many people, lived surrounded by noise. The TV was always on, notifications constantly pinged from her phone, and her mind seemed to never rest. One day, after watching a video where we discussed the power of silence, she decided to try something different. Every morning, before turning on any device, she would sit on her small balcony, close her eyes, and remain in silence for 10 minutes. No music, no distractions, just her and the sunrise. At first, she told me it felt like she was doing nothing useful, like those minutes were wasted time. But as days went by, something changed. She noticed her thoughts starting to organize themselves, her emotions becoming less chaotic, and she even began to enjoy simple things like the birds singing or the aroma of her coffee. Those 10 minutes became her daily ritual, a sacred space where, as she puts it, I can truly hear myself. Intentional silence doesn't require big changes or perfect spaces. You can find it in your garden, a quiet room, or even in the middle of the noise by simply closing your eyes for a moment and disconnecting from the outside. It's a practice within your reach, no matter where you are or what your routine looks like. The important thing is the intention, deciding that for a few minutes, the world can wait while you find your center. When you practice silence, something magical happens. You realize that many of the worries that seemed urgent are not, that the thoughts piling up in your mind can drift away like clouds in the sky, and that within that emptiness, there's space for peace and clarity. So let me ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself a moment of true silence? Not the uncomfortable silence we try to fill with distractions, but a deep, intentional silence where you can truly listen to yourself. Because in the end, it's in that silence where you not only find calm, but also the answers you've been searching for. Number 5, simplify your daily decisions. Sometimes, what drains us the most isn't the big life decisions, but the small choices we face every day. What to eat, what to do first, how to organize our time. Even though they seem simple, these decisions consume a significant portion of our mental energy, leaving us with less strength for what truly matters. It's like carrying a backpack full of tiny stones. None of them weigh much on their own, but together they can be an unbearable load. The Stoics understood that a simpler life leads to a clearer mind. Epictetus said, "Do not worry about things beyond your power. Focus your energy on what you can control." And interestingly, many of the decisions we face daily are entirely controllable, even avoidable, if we organize ourselves better. Imagine your day as a table covered with objects, a few essential ones and many unnecessary ones. If you try to handle everything at once, you'll inevitably feel overwhelmed. The key is to clear that table, to simplify your approach, so you can dedicate your energy only to what truly matters. This doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities, but structuring them so they don't consume more mental space than necessary. One of the most effective ways to do this is to plan ahead. Deciding the night before what you're going to do the next day, what you're going to wear, or what meals you'll prepare eliminates the weight of making those decisions on the spot. It's a small habit that over time frees up a surprising amount of mental energy. Steve Jobs and Barack Obama, for example, wore the same type of clothing every day, not due to a lack of options, but to reduce the mental fatigue of deciding something so trivial. Another powerful approach is prioritizing. Instead of starting your day trying to do everything, identify one or two things that truly matter and focus on them. The Stoics called this acting with purpose. making sure that every action aligns with what you value and not just with what feels urgent. When you learn to prioritize, you stop feeling like the day controls you and start taking control of your time. Science backs this up too. Studies on decision fatigue show that as we make more decisions, our ability to choose wisely diminishes. That's why simplifying and automating small decisions leaves more room for the big ones, the ones that truly determine the quality of your life. Think about how much time and energy you could save if you simplified your daily routine. What if you prepared your meals in advance instead of improvising every day? What if you set specific times for your activities instead of constantly facing the dilemma of, what should I do now? Those small changes not only reduce stress, but also allow you to focus on what truly matters: your well-being, your relationships, your passions. Simplicity is not a sacrifice. It's a powerful tool for reclaiming clarity and focus. It's like clearing a path full of obstacles so you can walk with more ease and confidence. So let me ask you, what small decisions could you eliminate or simplify today to free up space in your mind? Because in the end, a mind less burdened by trivialities has more energy for what truly matters. Number 6. Learn to let go of lost time. One of the greatest enemies of a clear mind is the constant repetition of "what if?" It's that habit of replaying moments that didn't go as we hoped, regretting the opportunities we didn't take or the mistakes we made. It's like walking while constantly looking backward. Not only do you fail to move forward, but you also risk stumbling over what's right in front of you. The Stoics were clear on this subject. Seneca, in his letter on the shortness of life, reminded us that time is the only resource we can never get back. While we are wasting our time hesitating, life is slipping away. We spend so much time longing for what we can't change that we forget to live what we still have. But the past, with its good and bad moments, is a closed chapter. We can't rewrite its pages, we can only learn from them and move on. The problem is, letting go is not always easy. Some memories feel like tattoos on our minds, situations we desperately wish we had handled differently. But here's the secret. Lost time only becomes a burden when you cling to it. If you choose to let it go, it transforms into experience, into learning, into a stepping stone for growth. Imagine you're carrying a suitcase full of useless things, clothes that no longer fit, objects you don't use, meaningless papers. It's heavy, uncomfortable, and slows you down with every step. Why keep carrying it? Letting go of lost time is like opening that suitcase and starting to let go of what you no longer need, not because it has no value, but because it has already served its purpose. The philosopher Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Nazi concentration camps, said that it's not what happens to us, but how we interpret it, that defines our lives. Learning to let go of the past doesn't mean forgetting what you've lived through. It means changing the way you carry it with you. It's deciding that those experiences won't be a burden, but a lesson that strengthens you. Think about this. What have you gained from lamenting what you can no longer change? The answer, almost always, is nothing. But when you choose to let go, something extraordinary happens. Your mind frees itself from that weight, and suddenly there's space for something new. New experiences, new decisions, new opportunities. It's as if, by releasing the past, the present finally has room to flourish. Here's a powerful practice to start with. Whenever a painful memory or a "what if" pops into your mind, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and tell yourself, I can't change this, but I can decide how to move forward. It's not magic. It won't make the past disappear, but it's a step toward acceptance. And acceptance is the first step toward peace. So let me ask you, what part of your past are you still carrying today? What could you let go of to walk a little lighter? Because in the end, it's not the lost time that weighs us down. It's our inability to release it. And when you do, when you choose to leave it behind, you discover there's always room to move forward, to grow, and to truly live. Number 7, cultivate a physical space that reflects your ideal mind. The environment we live in is a direct reflection of our mind. If our physical space is full of clutter, piles of unnecessary things, and chaos, it's no wonder our mind feels the same, overwhelmed, scattered, and drained. On the other hand, a clean, organized, and purposeful environment can be an extension of a clear and focused mind. It's a simple principle, but a transformative one. The Stoics deeply valued simplicity and harmony in all things, including the spaces around them. Marcus Aurelius said, "Order in your outer life is the first step toward order within." It's not about having a perfect or luxurious home, but about having a place that invites calm, focus, and peace. Your space should be a refuge, not a source of stress. Start by looking around you. What objects are taking up space without adding value to your life? It could be something as simple as that pile of papers you keep postponing to sort through, or that room filled with things you barely remember owning. Every unnecessary object doesn't just occupy physical space, it also takes up mental space. It's as if your mind has to carry the weight of everything you see, even if you never use it. Cultivating a physical space that reflects your ideal mind doesn't mean getting rid of everything. It means keeping only what adds value and joy to your life. A clear desk, a room with fewer distractions, a place where everything has its purpose. It's an act of self-compassion because you're giving yourself the gift of an environment that supports you rather than one that overwhelms you. Something as simple as making your bed in the morning, organizing your workspace, or letting go of things you no longer need can have a huge impact on how you feel. It's a silent declaration, a daily reminder that you deserve to live in a space that inspires you, not one that weighs you down. The key is intention. Every time you choose to reorganize or clean, do it with the mindset that you're caring not just for your space, but also for your mental well-being. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel when I'm here? Because in the end, our physical environment is not just a place where we exist, it's an extension of who we are and how we want to live. So here's something to consider. What does your current space say about the state of your mind? If you could design an environment that reflects clarity, peace, and purpose, what would it look like? And most importantly, what small changes could you make today to start building it? Because in the end, the order you seek outside is nothing more than an invitation to the order you deserve within. Mental clarity is not something you stumble upon by chance. It's a practice, a habit, a choice you make every day. Throughout this video, we've explored tools that can transform not only how you see the world, but also how you face it. Remember, a clean and organized mind is not just a gift to yourself, it's the foundation for living with purpose, focus, and serenity. Each of these habits holds the power to give you something priceless, the ability to live fully, free from unnecessary noise and the burdens of the past. Because, in the end, true peace isn't found in what surrounds you, but in how you choose to respond to it. Cultivating this peace is not a selfish act, it's the greatest gift you can give yourself and those around you. My name is Gabriel, and if this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming topics we'll be exploring. If you've made it this far, it means you take your mental health and well-being seriously, and that deserves recognition. To know who the committed ones are who made it to the end, comment the phrase, "I take care of my mental health," and let me know where you're listening from. I'd love to hear what country you're tuning in from and who's sharing this journey with me. And before you go, share this video with someone who might need it. Sometimes, a message like this can be the beginning of a deep change for someone we care about. Here, I'll leave you with more content that I'm sure will inspire you to keep working on your clarity and purpose. Take care and see you next time.